do. Let me know, girl, what you wanna do. Give me something, I give it to you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the video. If you're new here, I'm Goozes, Exotics, and more. And before we start this video, I would like to give you an update on the animal from the last video. If you didn't watch, go check that out. Newt, my axolotl. And if you don't want to watch it, then yeah, go ahead and skip to when the video starts. Hey guys, so if you're new here, this is my axolotl, Newt, and this is him eating. So if you're a returning viewer and you're seeing this, Newt is doing amazing. He's getting a lot bigger. He's eating a lot, and his tank is doing great. Newt is doing great. So yeah, if you guys were wondering, if you're a returning viewer, here he is. He's doing amazing. Anyways, just wanted to show you guys Newt, so let's get into this video. This week, I flew over and into Connecticut. It was a 2-hour flight to Chicago, 1-hour layover, then a 2-hour flight to Connecticut. I went up there to visit my cousins, and one of the days that I was up there, we went to the beach. I found a variety of animals. One of the animals that I found was a sick baby horseshoe crab. The other animals that I had found were baby snails, or just normal snails, I'm not really too sure, baby hermit crabs, but I did find a few larger hermit crabs, but there's 2 hermit crabs that stuck with me the most. I found 2 hermit crabs in the ocean that were about to be eaten by a seagull, so I picked them up and I saved them. And I was planning on taking them home, so I had to put them in a bottle. And once I got back to my cousin's house, he actually, fortunately, had a spare aquarium that I could put them in. Here they are in the bottle. Just to reassure you guys, I wanted to tell you that I got the bottle, I rinsed it out with salt water, and then I got some salt water from the ocean, and I put that in, and then I dropped the hermit crabs into the bottle. Now, keeping these guys alive was going to be tricky because the only access to water that I had was the salt water that I picked up from the ocean. And I got some leaves and some grass, and I put them into the tank just to give them a little bit of shelter and natural stuff, you know what I mean? And the only food I have was the old food that my cousin had and some carrots and stuff that was in the fridge. So I went ahead and popped some carrots into there, and they did eat a little bit. You were probably wondering how I'm going to get them through TCA and on the plane and stuff like that. But unfortunately, one day I woke up and the crabs were fully out of their shells and non-responsive, and they had passed away. This was the night or the day before, I'm not really too sure, but as you can see, Fred and George look like they're alive and doing good, but unfortunately, like I said, the next day I had woken up and they had passed away. Anyways, all is okay because my grandparents said they would buy me some hermit crabs at the pet store. So, yeah, I'm going to give these guys a good life in memory of Fred and George. So, I tried to save them. Didn't work out because I didn't have good water quality. I didn't have, you know what I mean? I didn't have a lot of good equipment or anything. But it's okay. The new hermit crabs can live in their memory. A couple days later, I was finally flying back home. Now, this process took a really long time because our flights kept getting delayed and rescheduled. Never fly Southwest, guys. It's terrible. Anyways, so from Connecticut, we flew into Baltimore, Maryland, and a 3-hour layover was supposed to be a 1-hour layover. And once we finally flew out of there, we flew... Actually, it turned into a 5-hour layover, I'm pretty sure. I don't really remember. I was so tired. But our original flight path was supposed to be Baltimore to Colorado Springs, but it got rescheduled, so we flew from Baltimore to Denver and then Denver to Colorado Springs. Our flight kept getting delayed a bunch and whatever, but We didn't get home until about 2 in the morning, so that was fun. The day after I got home, I drove to PetSmart. Got the tank and supplies. My plan for this tank is simple, yet it looks very nice and very clean, and yeah, here it is. Once I got home, I put the tank down, and this isn't the permanent spot for it. I actually ordered a stand and it'll be here tomorrow in the morning. But in the meantime, if you're a returning viewer, you guys know the drill. Let's get all the supplies we need into the tank. Now that all the supplies are in the tank, it's time to take them back out again. Now that all the supplies were out of the tank, I took the filter out and tested it to see if it fit on the tank and how it fit on the tank. Next, I started to unbox the lid, and I was going to prepare it and like put it together and put it onto the tank. So there was a slight problem with the lid. The filter was like making it not fit on to the tank very good, so we have to like have it lean off the side a little bit, which I'm okay with. As you can see here, this is like how it is when the filter, like you can see the side thingies that help it fit on are all messed up and whatnot, but it will work. Everything will be okay. So yeah. This is the thermometer that I bought. It's a nice, accurate, more accurate than the digital ones, and I just stuck it into the tank to see where I wanted to put it and how it looked in there. Next, this is the heater that I bought, and I need a heater because my room is in the basement and it gets below 72 degrees, and these hermit crabs need 72 to 78 degrees, 76 degrees being the sweet spot for them. So yeah. Next, I put the filter onto the back to see how everything looked all together. So yeah. Next, I went ahead and took everything out except for the thermometer and then put everything back into the tank to get ready for tomorrow. The next day, off camera, I went to the fish store and bought the 2 hermit crabs, a snail, live rock, and the saltwater. So now let's just take everything out of the tank and get started. For the first step, I went ahead and opened the sandbag and started pouring it into the tank and spread it around and flattened it out. Now, I got live sand because obviously I can't cycle the tank. So I got some live sand, some live rock, and beneficial bacteria, aka API quick start, to go ahead and get the tank started and safe for the hermit crabs and the snail to go in. This is the live rock that I bought. I then went ahead and put the live rock into the tank and positioned it to the way I liked it. Next, I put the tank into my bathtub. Once the tank was in the tub, I went ahead and got my bucket of water and started pouring the water into the tank until it was full. Ready? Boom! See my magic, yo? Just kidding, that was a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of struggle. That tank was heavy. Anyways, here it is, and it's a little cloudy because of the sand and a lot of water spilled out, so I went ahead and topped the water off. So yeah. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but just a little bit of water spilt on me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Next, I installed the filter, and I couldn't get it to work, but then I finally got it to work. Next was the heater. I began to install the heater, and then I plugged it into the outlet to make sure the water was nice and warm for my hermit crabs, and the snail, of course. Next, it was time to install the lid, which I definitely did struggle with, but again, it all turned out okay in the end. The tank was finally fully set up, so now it was time to acclimate the crabs and the snail. First, we do a floating acclimation to get them adjusted to the water's temperature, and now we just wait 20 minutes.
20 minutes later.
Once they were done float acclimating, it was time to get just a little bit of water in the cup and then pour it into the bag every 5 minutes for 45 minutes. Finally, after an hour, they were done acclimating, so it was time to add them into the tank. Allow me to introduce you to Percy, the Nassarius snail, and he will be the cleaner of the extra food in the sand. Next, I would like to introduce you to George, my blue leg hermit crab. And I named him after the original George, so he will live his legacy. He will help eat algae and stuff off the rocks. Now, if you didn't know, these crabs that I got have little hooks on the bottom of their legs that help them climb on rocks and stuff because they're meant for the deeper oceans. The original Fred and George didn't have those because they were just beach hermit crabs, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, let's go ahead and add him into the tank. Now I would like to introduce you to Fred, my scarlet hermit crab. And these guys have the same thing on the bottom of their leg to climb on rocks and stuff, but they're more of the climbers other than blue leg hermit crabs. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and get this guy into the tank. I was eager to feed them, so I dropped half of an algae wafer into there, and George was going to it. Fred was just kind of chilling, but Percy was kind of scaring them off and thought Fred was the food. So yeah, kind of a fail there. The next day, the rest of the supplies that I had ordered had finally arrived, so I went ahead and brought those packages in. And boom, another sick transition, but I went ahead and set those packages down on my bed and gave Roomcube a quick little pet. First, the light. Now, this is the same light that I use for Newt's tank, but since there's no coral in here, I don't need a reef light. So, I like these lights because there's a 24-hour mode which mimics the daytime and nighttime, which is really, really good. After a long struggle and trying to figure out how to get this on with the crooked lid, finally, let there be light. This looks so nice and I'm really excited to get it all set up. So basically, let's not talk about that corny let there be light thing. Let's just forget about that and move on. Next was the extra shells for them to change into, and I'm about to struggle with opening this package for a minute, but it'll be sped up for you guys, so yeah. Next, I went ahead and scattered all the shells around and like moved them around and put them to how I like them. So yeah, I'm kind of covering the camera a lot, so I'm sorry about that, but yeah. Next, I put the siphon into storage. Now it's time to give a close-up feeding and take off the lid and the light and stuff and feed them. So yeah. Here's the food I'm gonna feed them. And they were being little weirdos. Actually, George was eating algae off of Fred's shell, which means he's hungry, so yeah, that's also pretty cool to see because hermit crabs groom each other sometimes. While I was setting the camera up, I didn't really know what was going on, so as you can see, George was don't really know what he was doing to Fred, and Fred was doing something in the sand, but as you can see, he was getting into his shell, so I went ahead and moved Fred away. Then I went ahead and dropped half of an algae wafer into right in front of Fred and accidentally hit him on the head. Yeah. Fred was grabbing on to the thing and he was eating it a little bit, but kind of made it hard for him because George was eating the algae off Fred's shell. So wherever Fred moved, George moved too, as you can see right here. George is trying to get away, but you can see, or Fred's trying to get away, and you can see George just hacking at his the algae on Fred's shell. So I moved the wafer a little bit, and then I moved Fred away from George so he could eat, because he didn't eat yesterday, but he kind of didn't really want it, so yeah. I tried to feed him again, but he kind of just skedaddled away. After that, I kind of just left the wafer in there near them and left them alone to do their own thing. So yeah. As you can see here, Fred's scarlet hermit crab instincts kicked in and he started scaling up the rock. Now, I noticed him doing this yesterday, and his favorite spot is actually on the very top of the rock. And I looked down, and George was kind of doing it too, so I panned the camera onto him. But he didn't really climb, so yeah. I thought I saw George eating the wafer, and he actually was eating it a little bit. And he started to go onto it a little more, but then I don't know what happened, but then he started to like back away from it. So I don't know, but he was eating it a little bit. After a while, they hadn't eaten anymore, but they were actually being super duper interactive. And George actually did something really cute. He waved hi.
Hi.
So I really love these hermit crabs. I know I've only had them for 2 days, but they're really cute. So yeah. They kept being super interactive all night, especially George. He was at the edge of the glass, investigating my room and looking at me and probably my cats, my dogs, and whatnot. And Fred just chilled on the rock like he usually does. So, yeah. And with that, that's going to wrap up today's video. And this journey was definitely emotional and fun, and I really love my hermit crabs, so thank you to my grandparents for buying them for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell if you'd like to see more bangers like this. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!